Planeta mais quente hoje é planeta com mais desastres amanhã.
A heating planet is a planet which will be faced with a growing number of catastrophes in the future. In 2024, the average temperature of the world exceeded that of the pre-industrial era by 1.5%. The limits we set out in the Paris Agreement has been missed. Fires, floods, rising sea levels, just three examples of threats to human life, entire populations, or indeed whole countries. In Portugal, more than 14,000 buildings are faced with the risk of coastal erosion or floods. 40,000 are faced with high fire risk. Climate change is nothing to do with ideology. It's an indisputable reality. It's obviously in our economy we need clean energy. We also need cheap energy, cheaper energy for businesses. So we hear about certain companies withdrawing from the Net Zero Banking Alliance as Trump takes power in the United States. With that as a backdrop, it's important that the rest of the world pull together to defend the world economy. The challenge of clean, renewable energy must succeed so as to avoid any further heating of the planet. We should also take a great strategic leap forward for European competitiveness. Saving the planet is not just about doing the right thing, it's also doing the correct thing.
Oliveira, the second one is Gamprendi, Mr. Gerbenian. You take both, yeah? We will start with Mr. Oliveira. The floor is yours.
Obrigado, Presidente. Sr. Deputado Lídia Pereira, é uma evidência hoje que a tentativa
Thank you, President. Ms. Lídia Pereira, it's quite obvious that European politics are based on market instruments when it comes to defending the climate. This has clearly been a failure. It's also clear that those objectives are not underpinned with any examples of success. In other words, it's an enormous risk, it's a bet. I would like to know whether you recognise the failure of market instruments when it comes to achieving environmental objectives. My second question, perhaps even more important, what do you think about the outlook, the prospects of us changing the way we live to defend the climate? What do you think about the idea of abandoning capitalism, which is leading to the destruction of natural environments and ecosystems? Capitalism is based on waste. That's what leads to its profits. And that's clearly an enormous obstacle to our climate objectives. So, to respond to your question, I would like to start by referring to the Pope as a Christian Democrat. The Pope called on everybody to act, and this is essential for the environment. Everybody has to act. We need the market, we need businesses, we also need individuals, communities. So my first answer to you is that once again, each and every one of us must be acting. Only by acting together, globally, can we succeed. To respond to your second question, in which you once again heap criticism on the capitalist system, I would like to remind you that the capitalist system has enabled us to lift millions of people out of poverty. It will also enable us to find a balance between climate change and the financial system. You have another blue card from Mr. Gamandri. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mrs. Pereira, for the sense of urgency that you described about climate change. But at the same time, it is your group that is undermining the Green Deal by trying to get rid of the deforestation law, by trying to get rid of the phasing out of the combustion engine. So how can you justify this high urgency that you're describing to fight climate change and at the same time being member of a group that is deliberately undermining the Green Deal plus climate policy?
You can answer, please.
Sr. Deputado, eu acredito na moderação para responder ao problema das pessoas.
I think that we should not focus on division, and especially not when it comes to the environment. I would remind you that over the last 5 years, the European People's Party has adopted most of the Objective 55, Fit for 55 package. In spite of that, it does not. We can't have a solution that doesn't take businesses' needs into account. You will not hear us questioning Europe's commitment. We have signed our commitment in 2019, and not at one moment since the beginning of this term have we questioned it.
For 1.5 minutes.